Hello everyone, it's Jen, Scrapbena Creations. Today I have two clean and simple cards using the Darcie's Scary Halloween stamp set. When I saw this, I instantly fell in love with it. It is perfect for 2020 and COVID, and I just thought that it would be really cute to send these out to some friends this year. So we're jumping off here with the coloring. I'm using my Copic markers today, and I'm going to be coloring both of the kitties black. So I just laid down a full coverage of the C3 marker. That's the only time I believe I'm going to use the C3, just to give that base coat to saturate the paper and help with the blending. My darkest is the C9, and I'm just going to outline the image with the C9. And then I will blend that out with the C7 and then the C5. And actually I do think I use the C3 in the middle of the cat for a center highlight. I was using the packaging for inspiration in terms of the coloring. That's one of the things I love about Darcie's stamps is they have a colored photo on the stamp package, which is great. You don't really have to think about coloring. You can just use that as inspiration. So with coloring black images such as black cats, when they're large like this, they can be kind of challenging to blend. So I usually do a couple of layers just to make sure that I get as smooth a blend as possible. I'm also really covering and blending where those colors meet. So you can see here with I am using the C3, I'm really using that to blend out that C5, and then I actually went over that entire image there just to blend that out. So I colored this standing kitty with her little face mask in the same way. And now I'm going to use some pinks here. So the only thing that I did different is I colored my jack-o'-lantern trick-or-treat buckets here pink and teal. The images on the stamp are colored in orange. But I'm using R85, R83, and RV11. A little bit of that C1 there on the inside of the cat's ears. So for the tummy, I just used the darkest color on the outer sides there to make that look rounded. And then for the ears, just at the bottom, and the trick-or-treat bucket, the darkest color was on the bottom too, and I left it so that the highlight would be on the top of the bucket. I'm also using the RV11 for the cheeks and the ears and the little nose on the one cat with the spider web. I'm also using that C1 on the eyes, and I'll blend that out with the colorless blender. So I did decide to bring in my black gel pen here. So I'm going to do the eyes as well as the mouth on the kitty with her little open mouth. So cute. Now I'm going to bring in my aqua teal colors here. I'm using BG23 as the darkest and then BG10. I will do a little bit of tip to tip. I'll touch the lightest color to the darker one, so the BG10 to the BG23, just to get a little bit more of a smoother blend here. And I do have one of my two black cats in my craft room now. She's purring away. I don't know if you can hear her or not. But once I had that colored, I felt like I needed a bit more contrast, so I brought in the BG15, which is the darkest out of the three, and then I'll blend that back out with the BG23 and then the BG10 again, and I like the look of that a bit more. I decided to add a little bit of that BG10 to the spider web just to add the faintest bit of color to that, just so it wasn't stark white. And now I'm bringing in the greens. So I'm using YG17 as my darkest, YG03 as my midtone, and YG13 as the lightest color, just for the leaves on her headband there. And then I'm going to color up the flower like a sunflower, I guess. So I'm using Y38, Y17, and Y15 for the midsection there, and then Y06 for that lightest yellow color. For the skin tone on the hands, I'm using E11 and E00. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my white gel pen here for some highlights. Now for the cat's hands there, they have it so it's like the kitty is a costume, so like someone is dressed up. But I definitely think you could color the hands the same as whatever you colored the cat and use this image all year round, so it just looks like a cat instead of a Halloween costume. So bringing in that black glaze pen here just to add some final details. Then I can go ahead and fussy cut my images and we can move on to card number 1. So I'm going to work on the sentiment. I'm stamping this right on to my card base, and I'm using 120 pound cardstock. This is accent opaque. It's great for your card bases. So I'm just lining up the image there. I haven't adhered that down. I wanted to see where I wanted to stamp the sentiment, which reads, "Wait, my mask has to wear a mask," which I think is absolutely adorable. I think this is a good way to encourage kids to wear their masks. A little fun for Halloween. Not sure how many kids will be out trick-or-treating this year, but just a really sweet card. The image is just so adorable. On the inside, I'm going to stamp the sentiment, "Have a happy Halloween anyway." So there's quite a few sentiments in this stamp set. I'm going to use 4 different ones for my 2 cards today. And I did just get a little bit of an ink smudge. There was a bit of ink on my finger, so I'm just using my white eraser to clean that up. And then my bone folder just to score that card base really nice so it lays flat. So I'm going to add the little treat bucket to my little kitty trick-or-treater here. And then I'm going to adhere this down to my card base. You could definitely use some foam tape if you wanted to pop this up to add some dimension. I wanted to make some really clean and simple cards today. I absolutely love clean and simple cards. If you wanted to jazz this up, you could add some embellishments, but I'm going to leave it just the way it is. So moving on to card number 2, I'm going to use the little spider web kitty image. And I'm going to take one of my stitched semicircle dies here from Sunny Studio. You've been seeing me use this a lot. It is one of my new favorite staple die sets. And although I'm going to have this card be rather flat, I did want to add some interest to this window. So I'm going to add some acetate. This is actually some projector film. It's much more affordable than acetate itself, and you can grab it on Amazon. I will leave this linked below to Amazon US and Amazon Canada, as well as all of the other links for the products that I use in the video today. So I'm just using my ATG tape there to adhere the panel here to the window. And then I'm going to add my little image to the front of that. And again, I'm just going to add this straight down to my card panel here. You could definitely pop this up on some foam tape for some added dimension. And I'm going to have the kitty's paws overhanging the bottom of the stitched semicircle. So I'm just going to figure out where I want my sentiment, and then I'm going to add the trick-or-treat bucket here under the right-hand paw of the little kitty. And then I can go ahead and stamp my sentiment. So I just want to make sure I get that tucked in nicely by that bucket. And for this sentiment, it says, "Don't be a scaredy cat on Halloween." So cute. Goes perfectly with her little open mouth with the spider coming down on her head. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the inside of my card base. So I'm going to use my Versafine Clair ink here, and this one says, "It's nothing compared to 2020. So I've got my inside done, and I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of pattern paper. So I'm using the Halloween Parade paper pad by Doodle. This is a black piece of pattern paper with the tiniest white stars. It's really cute. think this is an older paper pad, but I've been trying to use up my stash this year since COVID and kind of staying at home more. So I am doing my best to support small businesses, but I'm also challenging myself to use up what I have in my stash. So now that I adhered the pattern paper to the back of my window, I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the card base, and it was sticking to my fingers a little bit. I am going to add some liquid adhesive just to the outer edges and a little bit on the inside to ensure that I get a good coverage of adhesive for my card. So there's the second card done. I'm going to show you both here. Oh, I did have to trim up the side of that card base just a little bit. So let me know if you love to do clean and simple cards. Again, you could add some embellishments, some Nuvo drops or some sequins to this if you want to jazz it up a little bit, but I was in the mood for clean and simple. So here's both of the cards using the Darcie's Scary Halloween stamp set. I think they turned out super cute, and here I realized that I adhered the card panel to the wrong side of my card base. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who's done that. I was able to peel it up, which was a miracle because that ATG and art glitter glue are quite strong, but I did it. I fixed it. No one will ever know. So thanks everyone for joining me. Have a fabulous day, and I will see you really soon in the next one. Bye.